Hey guys, it's Steve here. I'm gonna go about and try and do something different. I'm actually gonna show you guys how to draw. I mean, I've never done this before, so if the tutorial's crappy, sorry. So I was at work and I was just sketching around on some stuff, and I just thought that I'd share it with you guys on how to actually simplify ways to draw characters. And it's basically, it sounds stupid, but the way to think about the way I draw the arms is just think of a sock. And to show you what I'm talking about is when I normally draw arms on characters, I try to make it as simple as possible. So if you look at this right here, it's pretty much a sock. I mean, that's all it is. And if you want, I mean, you can either do it simple like this, or if you want to get more into detail with adding fingers and all that, all you simply do is just put ovals on the sock. So I mean, that's a simple way about doing hands. And the position of it is actually pretty simple too if you wanted to change the angle. So when I draw, like, I'd say just more for a perspective, like it's coming at you or something like that. Or actually, I'll go with this first. If you want the arm bent up, so you draw an oval, start right here, and just make a curve mark. And generally, right here is where I'll actually start to arc more, or excuse me, do the second arc. And then you just put a little mark here to show the bend in the hand. And I'll just prove the point that it's pretty much a sock again. And from here, you just add more fingers. I mean, you just add the fingers on there. So, I mean, for the most part, like I said, you're pretty much just drawing a tube sock, and all you're drawing is like the tips of socks. It sounds stupid, but you're just drawing the tips of the socks for the fingers. When I normally draw anything, it's just something that's always been, I've driven in myself. But if I start drawing something like just an illustration in general, I always start with a person in the center. I don't know, I always start with a circle, and then from there I build out from that. And if you notice, a lot of my stuff, I mean my old stuff, you can always see in the center there's one main focus, and that's where I normally start at. It's always in the center of the page, and it's normally a head of a skull or something like that. But for most of my work, my older stuff, and because more or less now I'm getting into rounding everything off, but I still like to prefer to actually, excuse me, make sharp points or block it off more or less. And I pretty much just do one guideline because anymore, a long time or years ago, I used to, my old crappier artwork, I used to actually do pen and ink. Was it? I did a lot more, try to do more detail, and as I progressed through my artwork, I wanted to do less, but make it bold. So that's when I started getting into Illustrator, doing the thick lines and the color variations. Not adding a lot of color, but just simple two-tone colors or just a shade and a highlight, and that's it. I just like the cleaner artwork than what I used to do beforehand. But I mean, just for this head right here, it says just a circle. I just ran a guideline through it, and from the side too. And normally, when I draw the character's head, I'll just start off with two circles. I mean, I'll either use this as a guide point, or I'll draw right through it, just slightly. But I mean, I said, it's just more or less a guide point for you to start off with. And of course, this eye here is going to be bigger than this one over here. Let me zoom in. Oh, I'm also using Sketchbook Pro. I actually found, and what I'm using right now is my cintiq 21UX. And to be honest, I prefer the smaller cintiq, the 12UX. I think that's what it's called. That's my other one that I use, because honestly, I feel that there's too much real estate. I guess you'd call it when drawing, and you gotta move your hand more in wider motions than compared to using the smaller cintiq, where it's more natural, like you're just drawing a standard piece of paper. Because this, I don't know, I'm not. I mean, I'm glad I have it, but like I said, it's more tedious. I think you're actually doing more work with the bigger cintiq than you would with the small one. And I haven't forked over the money to buy the HD cintiq because I personally don't see the need for me to even buy that, because this one just works fine for Illustrator. I mean, the only benefit, honestly, for me would be that these recordings would be in the 1080, which, I mean, they're not in the 1080 because of the bed size. I forgot what the actual dimensions of this is, but it's not HD like I'd like it to be. But I mean, it works for just doing simple sketches and doing Illustrator work with the brush strokes and stuff like that. But sorry for getting off track really quick here. So yeah, when I draw the character, I always start with the head first, and people have different ways of doing it with their eyes and all that. But like I said, anymore, simple is better for me. So like right here, I just do the circle and just actually kind of blocked it off a little bit, made it a little bit sharper around the edges. And I guess I'll do something different, like a dog, I guess. So I'll just draw the muzzle right here, just a standard oval in between the eyes. And then draw a nose here. And a lot of my work, I just keep it simple. I usually just black all this in and just like keep a couple highlights. But for this, I'll actually draw the pupils in here. I'll tell you, I mean, with this cintiq, I ended up getting a zag and visible shield for it. I mean, there's plenty of shields and protectors you can get for your screens and all that. But I mean, I've had zag a long time with my cell phones. But when I got it for the cintiq, the issue that I ran into is the protector is so porous because it's like the rubbery type that it like actually grips into the pen itself. The way I figured out how to get by that is by putting turtle wax on the screen. And by putting turtle wax on the screen, I mean, it fills in the pores of the screen protector. I mean, you can't see any of the stuff. I got that clear turtle wax, whatever it was. But, I mean, it made a big difference to where your hand actually glides across the screen. But, me personally, I would have actually preferred a matte finished screen protector to give it more of the paper feel, which this doesn't at all. I mean, it feels like you're just drawing on plastic, because there's actually there's really no friction on this unless you don't put the turtle wax on here. But I can tell you that Beans using this zag screen protector, that I've been using the same tip on my stylus for about 3 to 4 years now, because Beans, there's nothing to really grab onto it and tear the tip apart with the friction. Your tip's going to last forever, unlike a matte finish one where it's eventually going to start tearing it apart and making a sharp edge on it. But I mean, that's just a little insight on that. But anyway, let's say get the head done, and for the bodies, for a lot of my characters, I just do the simple bean type body shape, or a rounded rectangle in a way. I just draw a guideline off of that, excuse me, and try to make it more curved. But here, I mean, like I said, the whole sock theory, I should say, for drawing hands is, and a lot of stuff I don't proportion it a lot. I mean, if it looks good to me, that's how I keep it. I'm not too picky on how I draw my stuff. But like I said, I'll draw a circle here. I mean, that's the back palm of the hand, and then we'll just draw a line, an arc. Start about right here. And I mean, what's cool about this is it's like you can make the width whatever you want, just based on the character. Like I can actually make it if I want to make his hand bigger. It just think of it as a sock. If you draw your characters in like this tube sock method, whatever, it's a lot more simpler and easier to understand. I mean, just for my personal insight. And like I said, you just draw the tips of socks for the fingers. But yeah, I mean, this is actually really unproportioned for the hand, but I'm just doing this to give you guys insight, or some tips I should say. If it helps or not. I mean, if not, sorry. And we'll just do the same thing over here as well. I will tell you that I actually have a huge problem with foreshortening. It's just something I've never really grasped, and that's why I actually go about doing stuff this way. Like I said, the simpler the better. I mean, I may not be a try hard on progressing, but this works for me as of right now for the stuff that I draw. So if I end up wanting to challenge myself more, I will change my drawing method up a little bit and practice. And with the inside finger, all you do is just wrap it around here, then make a cut mark here, draw the wrist bend there. Just draw a fly there. And I mean, what I did with his hands, I'll do the same thing for the ears too. So really, I mean, for the most part, this is pretty much all either a circle or an oval for everything here, except for like right here they got the triangle, but it's pretty consistent. Should angle this more this way. And for the legs, it's actually quite simple too, is rounded rectangles. I mean, if you want to put a direction of which way the foot's angled, just draw a quarter circle, round it off. It's not as great as I want it to be, but get the idea. But I mean, this is pretty much the basics. Well, he's really bent up, but this is pretty much the basics and how I actually go about creating characters. Like I said, I mean, if you look at a lot of my characters, they're pretty much the same for this part for the most. And I just changed maybe the width of the head or the angle of it, just like you normally would. And like I said, being it's blocked in like this, you can actually go ahead and define more detail into it if you wanted to. But again, it's just all based on practice and getting some simple the basics down, I guess. I mean, for years when I started drawing, watching cartoons and all that, I just get so frustrated. But you just can't give up. It's something that you just have to practice with. Like I said, I mean, I'm sitting in an awkward position to draw this, but this dude's all crooked and crap. But like I said, it's just the basics and learn how to do it. If I can do this really quick, I'll show you an easy way to draw hands, or the way I do it. I say if it doesn't come out, sorry, but it's been a while since I've done it. But the simple way, for instance, we'll go with say he's holding a can. It all depends on the style type you want to do. Like my changes from this to sometimes some old darker stuff that I used to draw. Not darker, but just a different style is more streamlined but yet detailed. So right here, this dude would be holding a can right here. So I'd actually go about making rounded rectangles, but I'd put them all together as close as possible, because I mean, the closer it is, the simpler it is. And then just draw fingernails on top of these rounded rectangles here, and then you can actually just do the detailing or do a cutoff right here to show some depth into it. And for the excuse me, for the thumb, you can this is how you can do you can just do a rectangle and then just round it out. But then, like I said, you can give it some more of a life, just add some detail to it. And then I just go right here and just shape this in. You have to go into, you don't have to make it look all, I don't know, I just, like I said, try to make it simple, but I wouldn't go about trying to show more than you need to behind here. So just either leave it the way it is right here. It's too big. Or just take excuse me, leave the thumb the way it is here, or you can actually, I say, go in just give it some depth and draw that right there. And if I was going to draw like a hand grabbing you, or going towards you prospectively trying to grab something, I just draw either a couple circles, or block them out a little, or make them a little bit blocky like I did over here. See if I can get this to work right. I forgot. Give me a second. So I'm used to just drawing this on the fly and not talking and trying to do this at the same time. Well, this didn't turn out right here. Not as good as, I mean, I guess it's okay, but it's not as good as I want it to be. But yeah, I mean, just drawing this right here can actually gives a little bit more definition than if I was just to erase those. I mean, then it look kind of awkward in a way. But another thing I used to do, just for a style of doing hands, is in one of the or a couple of videos I did a while ago, is it's just doing 3 fingers plus the thumb and keeping it really tight together and simple. So you're actually almost doing a triangle with a flat edge there. See, a lot of the hands I do, it's the same thing over and over again. So it comes pretty repetitive, and it becomes easier to do. But I haven't done hands like these in a while, so that's why they're not coming out as good as I'd hope they'd come out to be. But more or less, I mean, I was just doing this video to give you guys some ideas and show you how I go about drawing some of the stuff. I mean, like I said, it's not something in depth or anything like that. I just want to give you guys, I mean, an insight and in cases to help you at all. But like I said, I've never done an actual drawing video because, I mean, I don't know if I'm that great of a teacher for drawing or anything like that, but I hope this helps somewhat, like I said, and gives you some ideas or insights on how. I just wanted to help you guys to give you an idea how to make stuff simpler to draw if you're wanting to draw. But again, I thank you guys for your support, your comments, and later on, I mean, it's not gonna be soon, but I'm gonna start I'll start doing giveaways and stuff like that with t-shirts when I start getting them printed off, just for your guys' support for subscribing and watching the videos and commenting. But again, I hope this helped in one way or another, and I appreciate your time for watching the videos and being faithful and sticking with me and following my progress. Again, have a good one.